Hours before Venezuelan President Maduro was captured, someone placed a bet. An anonymous Polymarket account dropped $30K on Maduro being out of power by the end of January. And after the dust settled, it paid out nearly $500,000. Prediction markets like Kalshi or Polymarket let you bet on anything. Geopolitical collapse, weather, even the existence of aliens. But sports is the place gambling went mainstream. Every 13 seconds there's gambling ads during broadcasts. In one ESPN segment about a betting scandal, a betting ad was running on screen. And if you have one of those apps, you will get bombarded with popular parlays and boosted odds 24/7. But how did gambling go from the biggest threat to the integrity of the game to one of its most important business partners? Today we'll break down the 3 reasons that made gambling impossible to resist. Welcome to Athletic Interest and how sports became addicted to its own worst enemy.
Let's start with how much you bet.
Let's start with some context first. The idea of sports betting is as old as organized competition itself. Ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans all bet on competitions. Chariot races, gladiator fights, even Olympic events. But people also learned quickly that gambling causes moral issues and can lead to addiction, financial ruin, and corruption. Therefore, many societies banned it for centuries. Until they realized how much money there is to be made. In Europe, sports betting became normalized during the 20th century, especially around horse racing, boxing, and football. In the US, things took a bit longer. If you wanted to bet legally, you had to fly to Vegas. It was inconvenient, and that was the point. But then came the internet. And with that Chuck Norris, Trollface, and Keyboard Cat. But it also brought us the dawn of online gambling. Well, kind of. At first, it didn't go by the scary name gambling. It was called daily fantasy sports. And here's how it works. Apps like DraftKings and FanDuel let you build a lineup of real players. You earn points based on their real-life performance and compete against others. The highest score wins. So you bet money on outcomes influenced by real-world sports. Technically, that would be gambling. But fantasy sports found a loophole in the law. If winning relies more on skill than luck, it's not gambling. So they argued that selecting players, analyzing stats, and managing lineups is skill-based. And many lawyers agreed. Therefore, they could operate legally and partner with major sports leagues. But not just that, they also normalized the idea of putting money on every single play. And much like loot boxes in video games, for many this became a gateway drug. But the real thing was still illegal. Until everything changed in 2018. The Supreme Court struck down PASPA, a law that had banned gambling in most states, with Nevada being a famous exception. Now states could decide for themselves if they want to legalize it, and most didn't hesitate because gambling promised some extra tax revenue. Once betting became legal in the US, the floodgates opened. DraftKings and FanDuel already had massive user bases from fantasy sports. They already had partnerships with leagues. And now they could offer full-scale sports betting. Not just on who wins, but the next goal, next foul, every moment. All from your couch, all on your phone, all in real time. Then COVID hit and poured gasoline on everything. Too much time, too little to do, and the most addictive behavior on the most addictive device. What could go wrong? Well, in 2024, Americans in total wagered over $148 billion on sports. That's about 3 times the revenue of the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL combined, the very leagues they bet on. More than a third of Americans have placed a bet. And also thanks to guys like Drake, the sports betting industry posted a record revenue of $13.7 billion. So for every $100 wagered, sportsbooks keep around $10, roughly a 10% hold. On average, that's twice as much as roulette and nearly 10 times more than blackjack. While there was already an established sports betting market in Europe, now the US followed gold rush style. 20 years ago, this was unthinkable. Professional sports wanted nothing to do with gambling. The NFL once even rejected a Super Bowl commercial just because it showed images of Las Vegas. Now Las Vegas has its own team. Sports went all in. And there's a good reason for that. After all, professional sports teams and leagues are businesses looking for ways to generate revenue. And the logic of modern capitalism demands continuous growth. You can even see it on a team's website. Man U, Cowboys, Lakers, their websites don't look like traditional sports teams anymore, more like full-scale global companies. Live match updates, ticketing systems, worldwide merch store, BTS content, hospitality options, and all in multiple languages. When things scale, complexity increases. At some point, even updating your website can become a real challenge. Luckily, there are solutions that make creating and managing your website much easier. That's where the sponsor of today's video, Odoo, comes into play. Odoo is an all-in-one management software with over 45 integrated apps to run your business more efficiently. From accounting and website creation to HR, event planning, and many more. With Odoo's website app, you can launch your website in just 4 simple steps. First, you define your website type, industry, and goals. Then you choose your website colors. Next, you add pages and features. And finally, you select a theme from the wide range available. And the best part, you can easily customize everything and add blocks with drag and drop. Plus, if your business evolves and you later want e-commerce, memberships, CRM, or inventory management, just add the apps you need. No duct taping together 5 different softwares, no full-time developer needed. So whether you're running a global sports organization, a YouTube channel, or just trying to keep your brand from descending into digital chaos, Odoo helps you to keep everything organized. Check them out via the link in the description. The first app is free forever with unlimited hosting and support included. You get access to the entire Odoo suite starting at €19.90 a month. Thanks to Odoo for supporting the channel. And now back to why sports teams couldn't ignore gambling. Ticket sales are limited, sponsorships are competitive, and media rights are still massive but show signs of stagnation. Adjusted for inflation, the Premier League's per-match value in the most recent domestic TV deal actually declined. On top of that, many uncertainties coming with the streaming era. So new revenue streams were needed. And that's where gambling came in handy. Once legalized, leagues had 2 choices: ignore betting and get nothing, or partner with sportsbooks and benefit. They chose the second, and by that unlocked 3 new revenue streams. First, data sales. Sports betting depends on fast, accurate data. If, for example, a penalty is given, the betting line needs to move in split seconds. Leagues own that data and make money by selling it to companies like Sportradar. Sportradar collects and organizes that data and turns it into packages that not just power live betting, but also many of the stats you see during broadcasts. The NFL reportedly earned $120 million per year through data sales. The Premier League got about $44 million. Compared to the massive broadcasting rights, that might sound small, but it comes with almost no extra effort or costs. So it's almost pure profit. Second, sponsorship and advertising deals. Gambling ads are everywhere. There's a gambling ad every 13 seconds during US sports broadcasts, 5,000 visible gambling ads during a Premier League match, and more than half of its teams have gambling sponsors. So while fans watch thousands of betting ads, leagues and teams cash in. Some of the shirt sponsorship deals can get really creative. Remember these? Some Premier League clubs were sponsored by Chinese gambling companies. Not to target UK fans, but to gain brand exposure in Asian markets where gambling ads were banned, but Premier League football is widely popular. Basically a marketing stunt. But that direct money through data sales, sponsorships, and advertising sales is only one part. The other part comes indirectly through higher fan engagement. Nobody wants to watch a snooze fest between Fulham and Nottingham. It's bad TV. Unless you have a bet on the left back getting a yellow card. Betting basically changes the whole viewing experience. It turns garbage time into prime time. Fans watch longer, care more about single plays, and consume more content. In an era where all forms of entertainment are fighting for attention and attention spans become shorter, that makes TV networks happy and puts leagues in a stronger position when negotiating media rights. From a business perspective, sports betting became impossible to ignore. But from an ethical perspective, that's where things get messy. More money involved means stronger incentives to cheat. We are seeing players banned, officials investigated. And once fans start wondering, was that just a mistake or is it a fix? The product itself is at risk. 6 in 10 Americans are already skeptical about the integrity of professional sports. And the moment fans stop believing in the game, no amount of betting revenue can replace that. Leagues argue that legalized betting helps monitor corruption. And that's partly true. But it also means they are monitoring the very fire they are pouring gasoline on. Integrity is only one side of the problem. Sports betting apps are designed to keep you engaged. Constant promotions, VIP programs, boosted odds. Most of the time you lose, but maybe next time. In many countries, gambling addiction is rising, along with mental health issues and financial ruin. On top of that, players and officials report increasing abuse and threats, tied directly to betting outcomes. Right now, it seems like the rapid expansion of legalized sports betting has outpaced society's ability to manage its consequences. So what about banning it again? Very unlikely. Sports betting is legal, profitable, and deeply embedded in modern sports economics. Currently, it's the Wild West phase. What comes next will probably be cycles of scandals, regulation, and loopholes, just like for tobacco and alcohol. But the central problem remains. Gambling offers short-term financial rewards and long-term systemic risk.
Because the house always wins.
So the question is the house the sportsbook or the leagues themselves?